my iPad and it looks fine.
Is it recording? Yes. Okay. It's recording. Yay. Hi, everyone. Tonight we are doing a pipes training. So pipes is formulated by Share Success, and it stands for, well, it's the everyday rainmaking practices that make our business thrive and flourish. So PIPE stands for prepare, invite, present, enroll, and support. So these are the 5 areas across our business that we need to show up in all these areas, and it really helps. This is kind of all the things that make our business run. There we go. So the more we put into our pipeline, the more we'll get out. So to get greater results, we turn up the flow. That's from doTERRA. So this is a little picture: prepare, invite, present, enroll, and support. So when doing preparing, it takes a few slides because I think this part has lots of meat in it. So first of all, we're preparing ourselves and we're preparing our business. So when we're preparing ourselves, I think one of the greatest things is to know ourselves, know our niche, know what our strengths are. So you can do the Strength Finder test. Now, this is a great little test online that now Gallup has been working with big, what are they called, Fortune 500 businesses, where they teach them this strength-based leadership, and really helps teams work well because people are working in the things that we are good at. So we're working in joy, we're feeling good about ourselves. Working in our strengths give us permission to not do everything ourselves. It helps us to collaborate with others because we're tapping into each other's strengths as well, and really helps with that teamwork and team morale. So you can do the actual Gallup Strength Finder test on gallupstrengthcenter.com. They can give you the top 5 for US $20, and they actually give you reports and action plans and things with give you ideas for using your strengths in your business. So I found this very helpful and really helped me to see the things that I do shine at. You think you might know yourself, but I think it's really interesting to see where these things come up. So my top strength was actually connectedness, which really comes down to seeing the effect that everything has on another thing. So believing that everything is connected, and I have definitely seen that in myself. My other ones were developer, so seeing potential in others, empathy, which is very much about me, and I can't remember the other 2, but they were all in relationship building mine. So which just helps me to, I guess, really tap into what I know I'm good at and really plan my business around that. So it might be delegating things that I'm not so good at to other people, or outsourcing or things like that on the areas I'm not so good at. There is a free test online at thehighfivetest.com. We did this one in our group, and it was quite similar. So it's good one to do first if you're not wanting to pay, but really gives you an idea of those strengths. So another thing you'll hear a lot about is our why. So our why, this little Venn diagram here is really about just really shows you what that little why, what that place, that ikigai, or that place where you're operating in your purpose. So your why is something that will get you through the times where you want to quit doTERRA, where you're feeling disappointed, where everything's going to shit. Your why will get you through the hard times. So if you have a look at Simon Sinek, he has a TED Talk, really awesome TED Talk. It talks about people don't buy what we do, they buy why we do it. And then what we do simply proves what we believe. So when we really tap into why we do something, it helps us to stay on the path of of our purpose. So, and your why can actually change a lot as you go through your business too. So it might start as something more, maybe not superficial, but something more simple. So it might just be to I don't know, like, it's not simple actually, but you know, your why might just be because you want to be home with your young children, which isn't simple, but it's you know, I guess an external thing. It might be getting your husband home from FIFO work, which is a lot of people's why. And sometimes as you go along, can you just mute yourself, Lise, if you're still unmuted?
Sorry.
Um,
How do I do that again?
it's on the, can you work it out? Oh yeah, it's good. So yeah, so but then as you go along, you might really find a new purpose for doing what you do. Like a lot of people align with the a lot more of the humanitarian side of doTERRA, and a lot of that can come into your why. It might go a level deeper. You just tap into more of it too as you go along. So finding the reason why you want to do doTERRA is a really great thing when you're preparing yourself. A growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset might say, you know, I don't know enough about essential oils, or I've just got to go to work and just do my job day in, day out. There's no room for growth, things like that. A growth mindset really looks at, you know, I might not be good at this now, but what can I do to grow? How can I get better? How can I always be changing and evolving and growing? And I thought this thing was really great because fear is something that definitely comes up for us in the personal development side of having your own business. So flipping the fear, which is from Mish Pope in one of her trainings. So these are some of the things that certainly come up when we're first starting. So something like, I don't know enough about essential oils yet. So what if we flip that fear and say, but what if I shared my experiences and use the resources that I have to help others empower their own knowledge? That's what doTERRA is about. So how about we just share what experiences we've had or we've seen or heard from our uplines, and then just show people how to use the Modern Essentials app or the Modern Essentials book, and they're empowering their own knowledge. So I don't have anyone wanting workshops, but what if I keep showing up, offering my own workshops and serving people where they're at? So there's always a way around everything. There's a way to do a new way. It's not all black and white. So if the workshops aren't working for you, then go down the track of one-on-ones, or keep showing up, keep showing up. And I can't see my words down the bottom there. So asking yourself how you can serve right now. Something that one fear that people comes up is the fear of selling. Yes, we are in a selling industry here. So you have to be able to own the fact that we are selling essential oils, but we're selling something that is a solution to people's problems. So we're serving people, serving our community, providing solutions. So we're hope dealers, as some people say, or things like that. So we're really in a business of serving, not just selling something that is superficial. So we also want to look at shifting blocks, and I can't really see what I've written, but I know that I talked a little bit about tapping and EFT, emotional freedom technique. So if you don't know anything about EFT, it's a really great little tool that is it's a clinical psychology tool where we tap on the meridians in our body, and it can help, and we actually say words that we're feeling. So we let the feelings come out, we verbalize the things that we're feeling, and we're actually tapping on places in our body when we say those things. So we're letting those fears come out while we're tapping on meridians in our body. And I can't remember exactly what this is, but you can have a good look into it. Brad Yates is one that a lot of people use in doTERRA. I also like to look at some of the other ones. There is a Christian woman called Sherry Rose or something like that. Sherry Ross, I can't remember, but if you look up Christian, I do have a lot of Christians in my team, so if you look up Tapping for Christians, you can follow a little bit of her stuff. It's a little bit more clinical, and you know, really addressing those things of anxious feelings and things like that we have in those blocks. If you are interested, Jessie is doing an e-course with Brad Yates, that's actually specific to network marketers. So when we say the fears, and then we actually replace them with a positive thought, and we really just kind of it's called tapping because we tap, but we're actually tapping that thought into our mindset as well. Let's see if I can get to the next one. Okay, so other things to do when preparing ourselves, looking at goals. And so this might be, goals is something that's really important, and writing the goals down. I'm not so good at this always myself, but it's certainly something that I aspire to. So when you're looking at your goal setting, you can be looking for your business, but also look in all areas of your life. So what are your health goals? What are your relationship goals? What are your financial goals with your family, and setting those goals and make them small enough that they're achievable, but big enough that they're not easy to achieve. So they're actually providing growth. Things that daily affirmations or daily, affirmations or I am statements. As a Christian, you might be using, I often say when I'm feeling low on myself, I'll often use some of the things that God says about me in the Bible as my affirmations, or I will use worship music to help me with those words. But thinking about what we're actually saying to ourselves and what we're attracting but not really attracting, what it's very hard to shift out of negative thoughts if you're telling yourself negative thoughts. So we need to be positive to ourselves. If you follow the law of attraction, you might follow that. I'm not a big person on law of attraction, but I certainly believe that we still need to be saying positive things into our life and speaking those into our life to believe them. So writing down intentions through prayer or manifesting, if that's what you do. So we might write down things that positive properties of a person that we're wanting to attract into our business. So, you might say, if you're manifesting that, I attract, builders who are ready to learn, who are ready to start. For me, I use it through prayer, so I will claim those things. So I'll say, thank you, Lord, that you're bringing strong builders and women that are ready to change their life and to change their health and want to start now and are teachable and all those things, and I'll use them through prayer. So we can also use our goals as our screensavers or passwords. So if you're looking at a goal for rank, you might be looking at silver or whatever. So you pop that on your screensavers or use them as passwords, just to keep those thoughts constantly going into our consciousness. And vision board. So this is a picture of my vision board that actually needs to be updated. That was from last year, but yeah, we do a vision board. So, you think about all the things in your life that inspires you, things you want to attain to, words that inspire you. So I've got scripture on there. I've got, this is when I was doing Diamond Club. So I had a picture of the Diamond Club. I had a picture of gold because I wanted to get to doTERRA Gold. And I think silver was first. So it was silver, then gold. Some words that inspired me. Picture of my women's circle, my family, work as a doula, all those things that I wanted to do. And, long-term things like the picture of a house in the country. That's a bit of a long-term goal right now. And then also making sure that we're taking time for self-care, because that is so important. There's the story of I think it's the lumberjack that there's two lumberjack, he goes out, and if he doesn't take the time to sharpen his tool, so he's spending a lot more time to cut down the trees. Whereas if he takes that half an hour to sharpen his tool, and he doesn't actually waste that time, it's actually pouring into, the productivity that's going to come from him. So when we take time for self-care, we're taking that time to recharge, to, relax and then recharge so that we can be more productive when we are working. Using your oils. So use your oils as part of your self-care. So whether it's some nice things, calming oils in the bath, or if you want to make yourself a nice little blend. These are some of the oils that jumped out at me about, making a blend for bringing in what you want to bring in, or for when you're working. So wild orange is the oil of abundance, ginger the oil of empowerment, patchouli the oil of physicality. Now those three are Jessie's manifestation blend. I don't like patchouli, so I don't use it. I do like wild orange and ginger. I use them a bit in my blends too. Some other ones that, a blend that I really love is Arbor Vitae, Litsea and Geranium. And funny enough, I actually made this, I found this blend, discovered this blend without actually looking at what the oils meant. But for me, Arbor Vitae has been quite a center oil for me in my business, because it's about letting go and letting God. Or so that just reminds me. So even if it's, so every time I use Arbor Vitae, I think of letting go and letting God, because there can be times when, and I often find times when I'm feeling frustrated, if I just go and I just put it down, I go and read my Bible, or I go and pray, or I go and listen to some worship music, I find that letting go of those things, giving them to God, and then I find, I'll get a message from someone who wants to get a kit or something like that. So it just reminds me that I have to give it over to God. So Litsea, the oil of manifestation, Geranium, the oil of love and trust. So trusting myself, but reminding myself that this is about loving others and serving others. So those are three of my favorite. That's probably my favorite blend for work. Geranium, the oil, so bergamot, the oil of self-acceptance. Some other ones that I found when I was flicking through the book today: blue tansy, the oil of inspired action; clary sage, the oil of clarity and vision; kumquat, which is in the citrus trio, is the oil of authentic presence; spearmint, the oil of confident speech. So that's just a couple of ideas of oils that you might want to use when you're just supporting yourself. Preparing our mind. So it's also important to be reading some personal development books or business books. So these ones are business books that a lot of people recommend. You can, so GoPro by Eric Worre, that one's about network marketing. Some of these, Being the Starfish, is specific to doTERRA and sharing doTERRA. So some of these are great. Start with Why. Brene Brown is one that I'm really loving at the moment. So I find for me that personal development of vulnerability is a big step in my journey. So and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So learning about, putting down those barriers of imperfection and being vulnerable is part of my, I think what I want to be in my business. So you can read them as books, or I actually really like Audible lately. I've just started on Audible. I was listening to TED Talks in the car when I drive, but I've now got a few books on Audible, because I tend to collect books and not read them because I fall asleep when I go to read them, and I don't pick them up often enough. So the Audible works really well for me to listen to while I'm driving to workshops, etc. So preparing for our business. So a lot of the time, sometimes we will spend a lot of time on the prepare and the support areas. So we're answering questions about the oils. We're, doing all our reading, watching webinars, watching all this, prepare. But the I, the P, and the E, as Alison Bartolo says, they are the income producing exercises. So that's the inviting, the presenting, and the enrolling. So they are the money makers, those ones. So if we don't do those, our business does not keep going. So how are we doing this part for the business? We're getting our Empower Kit. So if you haven't got an Empower Kit yet and you're wanting to do this business, you need to get an Empower Kit. It's $30, so you add it to your order. You get 30 booklets. This is the old one. They've just changed it, so I don't actually have a current one now. But you get a little booklet that has our class list, our class outline, our price list, and it has the enrollment kits and then the forms for signing up. You also get 30 little invitations, and you get your 10 pack of 5 ml wild oranges. Whoops. So these, I use the wild oranges as a drawing gift for my workshops, but also I give one as welcome gifts. So I don't give these out to everyone who comes to their classes. I give them out to people who enroll. So what do you need to do a class? Pretty much you need your Empower Kit, your top 10 oils from the Home Essentials or the Essential Collection Kit. You'll need a pedal diffuser, and you'll need a Modern Essentials app. So that's the resource. That's the cheapest way to do it. If you get a book, A book's great for a workshop, but you can also show people on your Modern Essentials app. So that's the limit or the minimum of what you need to get started. Watch people teach workshops. So if you can go to your uplines classes, please do that. If you can go to some crossline people's classes, please do that. It helps you to get ideas that, you know, there are ways to do the classes, but we also want your class to be you. We want it to reflect you. So watch a few people and see some of the tricks that they use. So Jessie Reimers does one. Mish Pope has one on her website. Alison, I think, has one on her, their YouTube channels. Alice Nichols has one. I think, actually, it's not Tiffany Pedersen. It's Teresa Hall, I think her name is. I forgot. I wrote the wrong one down. Learn about the compensation plan. So you are not going to go and apply for a job and work in a job if you don't know how you get paid. So we have to learn how we get paid. We have to learn to use the compensation plan to our best knowledge. And you want to learn about things like placements and enrolling and sponsoring and all those things. So you can learn about the compensation plan. There's plenty of YouTube videos around on that. I actually have a YouTube video, so you can have a look on my channel, which I can link later if you can't find it, but that's actually the link if you want to write that down. Now, your hundreds names list. So this might be scary for some people, but when you get those names down, you start realizing how many people you do know. Just the other day, I wrote a list of people that I wanted to chat to or send an offer to do the spoil yourself. And I had a page of a whole A4 page. So, and that's now, like, I've been doing this for 3 years. So your hundreds names list. Family, extended family, friends, your Facebook community, the school groups, the clubs that you go to, your service providers, so your hairdresser, you know, someone else that you might be in regular contact with, dentists, you know, like doctors, your massage therapists, your chiropractor. Those people are really great to introduce to the oil because they really are in that natural health field already. So while it's scary, and you don't have to go through the list from top to bottom, it just helps you to realize the potential of your network. So first of all, we actually don't advise you to just go and go, hey, you need doTERRA. We want you to build those relationships. So if they're people that you've lost contact with, then reach out to them, ask them about their lives, just reconnect with these people, but don't mention the oils straight away. If they, you know, often they'll say, oh, the kids aren't sleeping. And once you reconnect, you start to see those pain points come out in people. As Jessie always says, how would you feel if the person who introduced you to doTERRA didn't? So we don't want to be the one that's stopping that opportunity from another family to heal those pain points in their lives or to support those pain points in their lives. Preparing our time. I know prepare is big. The other bits aren't as big, I promise. Time block. So how many hours are you committed to giving to your doTERRA business? When will you do classes? So look in your calendar and time block places where you can do a workshop every week, or you will do 2 hours on wellness consults, and you'll do this time on this and this time on that. So if you can do that. Book in workshops. Now this is important because P is the presenting. The workshops or the one-on-ones are the nuts and bolts of our business. So that should say book in workshops or one-on-ones, but book them in. If you are doing full-time in this business, you should be doing at least 2 workshops a week. If you are looking at a part-time or hobby, you might do 1 a week or 1 a fortnight. But if you are wanting to actually rank advance and succeed in this business, you need to put that time in, and it needs to be, they say two classes a week, 2 contacts a day, 2 follow-ups a day, 2 classes a week, and then 1 team building once a month. So that is the nuts and bolts for a person who wants to rank advance in this business. So you might do that just for yourself. You might do 1 workshop for yourself a week or even just a month. And then the other 3 or 4 you might be doing for your contacts. So your friends, your downline, running classes for them and their friends. So ask your upline for support. Normally we will do your first class for you. We will do your second class with you, second and third class with you, and then we're there to support you to do your class. You can look at scheduling your social media posts. We do advise, if you are trying to share online as well, that you are posting regularly in your groups. People want to see you. They want to see your face. They want to know who you are. They want to know who they're connecting to. So firstly, don't put a lavender bottle in your profile pic, because that's not connecting to you. People want to see who you are. There's a lot of people that are doing doTERRA now, so if they just see a lavender pic, they are not going to choose you to go with. They want someone who shows them who they are, someone who's vulnerable, is sharing how they're using the oil, sharing their struggles, sharing things like that. So look at doing a whole week's post, maybe on a Sunday night, and you can schedule them on Facebook. You can do one a day. You might record videos. Lives are actually really, really needed if you want your business pages to be seen at the moment. And Facebook algorithms are looking more at group interactions too. So you want to be posting in your groups and using live videos if you can. Samples. So people need an experience with the oils. So you can grab your US samples of toothpaste, ice blue rub, shampoo and conditioner. They're from the US order. Whoops. And then some things that you will need for preparing samples are, I use 3 to 5 ml roller bottles, usually 3 mils, or unless I've actually found some skinny 5 ml roller bottles that I can post for $2. So if I'm posting, I want to keep them thin, so I tend to use the 3 ml rollers, and then 1 to 2 ml vials with drops of neat oil. The rollers have blends in them. The On Guard throat drops and easy air drops are good to use also. Make sure you have some fractionated coconut oil, your sticker sheets, and then try to gear your always try to gear your samples back to a enrollment kit. So if the person's concerns are emotional, you might go with the mood management oils. If their things are physical, or looking at things like digestive support or sleep or things like that, then gear them to the Home Essentials kit. So using lavender and frankincense and easy air for sleep, using Digestin for digestive support, using wild orange and peppermint for energy, for example. So preparing welcome and host packs. Now, a welcome pack is something I give to new enrollments. So this is what an enrollment pack might look like. It changes all the time depending what I have and what little documents I have. But a 5 ml wild orange, roller bottles, an info booklet, and some samples. I had some bracelets there, so I've thrown in some bracelets sometimes. I often have a little booklet. The Healthy Can Be Simple is a good little booklet. You can also try the little ebooks from doTERRA.com. There's a beginner's one, which is pretty good as well. A workshop host pack is for anyone who wants to book a workshop. So that has a little letter for the hostess in it, and I think I have that in the files in my builders group somewhere. It's got some invitations. I have a little recipe booklet that I think is also in the files in the business group. And I also give some little samples of lemon, wild orange, and peppermint that they can use to make their recipes with for their workshops. And you might put a couple of other samples in there. All right, inviting. Woo, I should have just done one on just preparing. So inviting. When we're inviting to classes, this is the first of the IPES, so those income producing exercises. The best thing to do is invite in person. So if you can talk to someone face-to-face, invite them face-to-face, because they will feel special. They will feel like you actually want to invite them. If you can't invite in person, then pick up the phone or send a personalized text or message to them. Don't just invite them to a Facebook group and expect that they will come. So I do that. I just invite people to Facebook groups too, and then I try to send them a message to personalize that invitation. So if you add them to a Facebook event, invite them as well as adding them. So if you can, give a sample when you're inviting someone, or give them a sample before they come to the class. So always have samples in your handbag, and always have an intro class booked that you can invite to when you are giving samples to people or you chat to people in the street. Have a class booked in at all time that you can invite people to. If you don't have one booked in and you're in Brisbane, we have a fortnightly 101 class every second Tuesday night in Arana Hills that you can invite people to. I can't see what that last one says. Always follow up, I think it was. So you're wanting to follow up with them as well. So inviting on Facebook. So if you have a Facebook event, or if you are doing a workshop for a host and they're having a Facebook event, introduce yourself in there. So do a post with your face, tell them a little bit about yourself, why you share doTERRA, a bit about your family, just so they know who you are. It's great to post info in there every day. We want people to get a little bit excited thinking, oh, I really want to come to this workshop. So showing like how you're using it in your cooking that night, how you use it in a diffuser for bedtime, how you might have used them for your emotions one day, showing kind of aromatic, topical, internal uses across a different spectrum. One each day is good in the lead up. I like to connect with those who are going. So, you know, say, hey, especially if it's my workshop, looking forward to seeing you. And then, because sometimes they click going and then they forget about it on Facebook. Doesn't really mean that they're going. Like the fact that we have 2 people here tonight and we had 9 that were coming. And I also connect with those who are interested, because interested means jack all, really. It just means, oh, that looks good. But I try to talk to them. And I always assume that people are coming. Don't ask people, are you still coming? Because that gives them an option to say no. So if you assume they're coming, then they can decline, but they are more likely to come because you're expecting them. So following up, 2 days before the workshop. Hi Susan, I'm just sending a reminder about my essential oils workshop on Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm looking forward to seeing you. If you'd like to bring a friend, I'll have an extra little gift for you. So we're using assumptive language when we're checking in. We're assuming that they are coming. We're not giving them an option to say no. The day of the workshop, a couple of hours before, send a photo or something or put it in your event. Something yummy you've made for the class with a quick assuming message. Hey Sarah, I've just whipped up some peppermint bliss balls for the workshop. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Can't see what else I wrote. I have a special gift for you too. So presenting. Now host coaching. We need to coach our hosts before we have a workshop so they understand what's understood of them, like what's expected. So the little host pack with the little host letter kind of tells a little bit about commission. You don't have to have that awkward conversation. It's got some talk about the 100 PV that's required. Letting people know that if they could refrain from alcohol before or during the class. Now, I've done a few classes where it's a bunch of ladies drinking and it is a nightmare. You'd think, oh, they're drinking, they'll buy everything, but they don't. They just ignore you and then they just talk to their mates. So this is an educational class. We can't actually be educated when we're intoxicated. So just ask them if they could please refrain from alcohol until after you've finished your workshop if they want to have that catch up after. Ask your host to introduce and edify you to the guests at the start of the class, which is really nice. They can tell about the relationship between the two of you and just introduce you a bit. And then also talking to the host about encouraging wholesale enrollment. So please make sure you're telling them not to offer ordering on their account, because it's not Tupperware, it's not Norwex, it's not all these other things where you buy with the host. We're trying to encourage people to empower themselves for their own house to get their own wholesale accounts for their homes. So explaining how the LRP works, that they'll need 100 PV to get commissions. And if they really don't want to order, you can talk to them about a referral gift and you could take the enrollment. Look, Jessie's team always says to put them underneath the host, and I generally do that too, except if it was someone who was wanting to jump into the business, then I might not. So I can support them. You know, someone who doesn't want to order and doesn't, or maybe if they don't want to order, if they don't want to follow up with that person, if they are a builder, then that's not the best person for them to go under. So you could enroll them and place them under that person in your tree. So this volume is still supporting them, but you could be the enroller if they are wanting to do the business to support them. Help them make an invite list. So help them to really think about who should be at the class, thinking about their friends who might need the oils in their lives, just trying to really, I guess, pre-qualify people to be at that workshop, not just every person and their dog comes along just because Susie asked them to. So presenting. Now presenting, I've got quite a few different things here. So some of the first things, arrive 30 minutes early so you can set up, have a chat, even more than 30 minutes, so you can have a chat with the host. Be prepared, so have all your things set up. I actually staple my business card onto the top of the booklet, which is great because then they're not losing it. Use your oils. So use spearmint, which is the oil of confidence, speech, or balance, or whatever other oils that you like. Write in the comment in the chat if there's some other oils that you like to use before you go into a workshop that help you, and I'll check the chat in a minute. And also for the diffuser, what oils do you like to put in the diffuser at your workshop? So you might do wild orange, lavender, and peppermint, which is actually, I think that was supposed to say wild orange, lavender, and frankincense. That's a really nice trio. Lemon, lavender, and peppermint. That's where the peppermint was supposed to be. That's one of my favorites, and it just showcases, I love the blend together, and it's showcasing some of our Home Essential kit oils. Cheer and motivate, which are not in the kit. I tend to try and go with the ones in the kit, but you know, that's a really nice one together as well. So presenting the class, handing out. What we need to hand out, we need an Empower booklet, a pen, and I like to have a drawing slip as well, or some people have an A4 and people sign in sheet. And then sometimes I'll put, oh, there's a typo there, but sometimes I'll make if there's a really good promo for the month, I might make a printout, depending if I have ink in my printer at the time, that goes with that so they can really see what that is without me just saying it. So when the host edifies you or introduces you, so edify the host, thank her for having you. This is where I will present the host with a thank you gift for having a workshop. And I usually do something like what's on this page. I don't often do a box. I might do a box if we have, I don't know, if I think that there's going to be a lot of enrollments, or I don't usually actually do a box. Sometimes that might be a follow-up gift if they do get a lot of enrollments. Something like a keychain, and if I do use a keychain with some oils that I know the host doesn't have, or I tell her that she can choose some samples to put in there. And I like to pass the keychain around the table, actually, if that's my gift. And then I'll say, oh, so, you know, if you really like that, you know, you can get one of those too if you host your own workshop. And then I mentioned I'll have my booking packs lined up on the table and just say, hey, you know, thank you, Sarah, for having this workshop today. This is a gift just to thank you for having us in your home and, you know, having me to share the education with your friends. And if anyone else if anyone else does want to have their own booking workshop, I've got some great little booking packs up there, so you can take one of those at the end of the workshop if that's something that you would like to do, what we're doing today. And then I mention it later as well. So I get everyone to fill in the drawing card. You need to have something that's going to capture people's details so you can contact them. But this also has their health concerns or what they're interested in. You can have on there whether they're interested in actually hosting a workshop as well, which I've found my one's a little bit different to that one that's there. And then it really helps to, you know, see what their health concerns are. And I also use the draw for a lucky door prize. So I always give away a wild orange at the workshop, depending on how many people I have at the class. I also usually make a 10 ml rollable when we're talking about topical use. I find that's a really practical way to show them how to use them topically and show them how easy it is to make a rollable, and I'll give one of those away as well. So when we're doing the class, we want to focus on connecting with our participants. So we're not up there teaching at them. We want to teach and connect with them. So we remember people's names. So I like to start by going around the circle. And at this time you might say, can you just, you know, say who you are and what the purpose of why you wanted to come to this workshop, or you might say or share one of your health concerns, so we can, you know, really make sure we speak to those health concerns during the workshop. This is the part that I'm not so good at, but try and keep your workshop to 1 hour. If we keep all the teaching part to an hour or less, people are not getting bored, and they don't need to leave early, because people will usually give about a 2-hour window to you. So you want to keep your workshop to 1 hour, so you've got time to go around and talk to everyone and get them signed up before they just leave when you haven't even finished. And then give them an oil experience. So when we're starting this, and I talk about getting a free wild orange for, you know, the drawing prize, that's when I whip out my wild orange and I'll pass it around. So we talk about, Vanessa Jean talks about wild orange being joy bubbles in a bottle. So I talk about it being, you know, a joyful oil, great for uplifting mood and energy. Use it in my cooking, use it for cleaning and degreasing. So you might use a couple of different ways. So when we're presenting the class, we need to use the Empower Kit. That's what this is for. You don't need a Fandangle PowerPoint or anything. This is created so that it is duplicable, it's easy to do, and it has everything we need in it. So a lot of people these days, like we have got the page where it has the enrollment kits on the back, but we don't need to talk about all of those. And a lot of people will say up front, and I learnt this from Mish Pope, that we just stick to 2 kits. So you might say, so tonight we're going to be teaching off the Home Essentials and the Nature Solution Kit. So we're actually going to talk about the top 10 oils, and these are available in both of these kits. And if you're wanting more than that, you can get the bigger kit with more options as well. So I'll tell them what this little booklet is about. So I'll say, so in your booklet you have got first of all, there is our outline, so that we're going to go through what essential oils are, how we use them. We're going to talk about our top 10 from those 2 kits, and also how you can get the oils into your home. The next page is your price list. So if you want to use this to refer to as we go throughout the class, you can just use an asterisk or a love heart or something where you want the ones that resonate with you, so we know where to go back to when we're talking to you at the end of the class. And then we've got enrollment kits here. So and I just learnt this from Kayleen actually. She actually talks about the membership right at the start of the class, and I think it's brilliant. So this is where you could say, how doTERRA works is we work off a wholesale membership. And so people join, it's like Costco, so you get your, you get 25% off by having a membership with them, and then you get to, you know, make your orders. So most people will order an enrollment kit, and you can, there's 2 different ways you can do it. This is what Kayleen just told me. You can join up, there's 2 different accounts. So there is the customer account. So this is the account where you can't build a business. So you just order your oils and they get shipped to you. There's no ability for you to have a business with that account. And then there's also the business account. So the wholesale, Wellness Advocate account. If you do think that you might like to have a workshop or share with friends and family, you can go that way. It's often good to tell people up front that, you know, because a lot of people come to these workshops thinking about, oh, I'll just buy from the host. They think it's like Tupperware, or they think it's like Nutrimedics or something where you're buying from the host and it's a party, and like we're not like that. So if we tell them straight up front, we are a membership. We work on memberships like Costco. You join up, you get your discount. And if you have that up front, then people are less likely to get confused. So you can also then say the last page is your form if you want to get oils. And now I learned from one of the other leaders, she says, like if she's doing a speed class, like she did one in a lunch break the other day, and she said, so pre-fill, you can pre-fill your details into the agreement form even if you're remotely interested in getting some oils tonight. So it gives you an idea of who actually is serious about this, and then they can start to pre-fill that out too, so you don't have to do the whole thing when you're going around at the end. So we want to keep to the Empower Kit. It has got 1, what are essential oils? 2, why, exploring nature solutions for your health. Why doTERRA oils? How to use them. Talking about a foundation of good nutrition. So if you go through these as they are, that's what you need to do. It has all the information we need to share, and it's compliant. So this one is actually not compliant now because we've had a new one and the new TGA rules, but the new one has all the things that we can say compliantly in a class. So apart from the kit, the Empower Kit, you don't have to read out every single word on there. You might pick a couple out of there because you're wanting to keep it to 1 hour. Add your personal stories where you can. When you talk about an oil, add your stories. If you don't have a story, then find one from someone else. Engage your participants. So things like, who needs more energy in their life? Hands up. And you'll get, that engagement. And then you go, so you need some lemon or you need some peppermint in your life. Try this. Put a drop in your hand. And then I like to, the only thing that I do differently that isn't actually on here is when we talk about why doTERRA oils, I like to talk about the Healing Hands Foundation too. I think the heart of doTERRA is something that's very important. We're not just about selling oils. We are, changing communities and purchasing and sourcing oils sustainably. So we want people to know about those humanitarian things that we're doing. So I like to throw that in there too. And then I talk about the Hope Oil and pass the Hope Oil around, and about the Operation Underground Railroad and how they work with how doTERRA is supporting that organisation. All right, so the other thing on this, there's pictures of oils on here. So if you want to, and I like to, we're going to get the oils into hands and noses ASAP. So don't wait and do it all here. I think it's good if we can get in and get an oil into their noses straight away. So I will talk about, so when we're talking about this, we talk about peppermint oil being, 1 drop of peppermint oil is equal to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So I'm passing the peppermint around then. And then I'll add a couple. Then I go to the back here and I'll just tell people, look, you don't need to write these down. All the things are on the back, are on the second page. But then I'll talk about 2 or 3 uses for peppermint oil. And then lavender, and I usually do lavender down here with why doTERRA, because I actually have a chemist brand lavender that I pass around and to show the difference between them. That's probably completely uncompliant, but I do that in my classes. So when we're talking about why doTERRA, I talk about these things, but I pull it into 2 things. Purity, so that's when I talk about the testing, and the CPTG, and third-party testing, and then the potency. So purity is one thing, but potency is really where I think a lot of doTERRA's difference is, because, and this is where the certified organic thing comes into. The potency of an oil is very important when, to see how therapeutic it is. And I talk about them being grown in their natural states or in their natural habitat. And then I talk about them being grown in over 100 different countries that we source from. And then I usually talk about being 45 of those, or over 45 of, or over 50%, I think now, of those are developing countries. And that's where I'll talk about the co-impact sourcing a little bit. So go through that. How to use essential oil, how to use them. I usually start down the bottom and do aromatic first, because that's the most common and safest way to use them. So here I'm going to talk about, that we use them for killing germs in the air, which I'm not sure if that's compliant with the new one now. Easy breathing, for mood. And then I'll pass around easy air and talk about that, how we use that for our respiratory system. Then we go to topical use, and I'll talk about, you know, mention those things, and I'll show them how to make a rollerball. And then we pass around ice blue and talk about that for topical use. And then we'll talk about internal use. And I usually, you know, leave that a little bit. So, look, it's up to you if you want to use them internally. But if you do so, this, this, and this, and then we'll pass around lemon. Now, when you're talking about the healthy pyramid, over here, this part's a bit tricky sometimes. I recently learned something at convention that get people to rank them where they sit, and how many, either rank how they feel about how they can, how they deal with that right now, or their natural options for those things in their life. And then you can talk about how, you know, our oils can actually reach all of those things and can support all of those systems. And then if you feel comfortable talking about the Lifelong Vitality Pack, this is a great place to just mention that a little bit too. When we get people, so then we've got our, what are your 3 health concerns? So you can say, some people actually like to do this at the start of the workshop as well, or there's lots of different ways to do this. I learnt from Jackie Isles that, so she asks them, or goes around the cell, gets them to fill it out, and then goes around the circle and gets them to mention one of them. And she actually talks about oils to that one. So she might say, oh, what was yours? So mine was sleep. Okay, so let's get out lavender, and we're going to pass around lavender. And we're going to pass around easier if we haven't already. And so that's a good way to bring those oils into, because it's actually speaking to a problem with a solution. So when you're talking about the oils, 2 to 3 things for each oil, keeping it simple, using an example if you have it, mentioning people's health concerns if possible. So they might have mentioned their health concerns at the front, and then you bring out the lavender. Well, this is the one that this will help you with your sleep troubles, Anna. You can go as easy as going, okay, like, and I know Mish Pope does this. Lavender is for calming and soothing. Lemon is for uplifting and cleaning, or something like that. So you can do really, really basic way to do it. You just want 2 or 3 things. You don't have to mention everything on the Empower Kit. Enrolling the natural clothes. I just need to text my son because I'm supposed to pick him up from work. We'll be late. Okay, so the natural clothes. This bit can be tricky. So that's why you don't want your workshop to go too long, because if you lose people here, then you need people to be engaged and wanting to enroll. So as Kayleen just said before, like, she talks about the membership at the start of the class. So she sets that at the start, which I think is pretty awesome. But if you don't want to do that, then you can do here. So for those who have oils that you want to try, here's how you can get them into your home. Now, doTERRA works as a membership program, a little bit like Costco if that's something that you use. When you get your membership or your wholesale membership, you get 25% off all your purchase for 12 months. I don't even mention retail usually, because I don't want people to think that that's the option. We don't. Retail doesn't come with empowerment. It doesn't come with support from a team member. It doesn't come with not locking them in, but bringing them into your team. It's not how I want people to. I want people to get the good prices because they're getting, and I want people to go on LRP because then they're getting their oils at the best prices, and they're getting points to spend on more oils, and they're getting free oils. So I don't mention retail. So yeah, you get 25% off all your purchases for 12 months. And you can say here if you want, there's no lock-ins. There's no need to order regularly unless you want to. You don't have to sell. You don't have to do anything like that. So you could talk about here then. So this is where Kayleen talks about at the start, but you can talk about it at now. So there's 2 options for enrolling. There's the wholesale customer. Now, this is the option for those who absolutely do not want to do the business, do not want to share, get commissions to pay for your own oils, nothing that. Just want to buy your oils and get them shipped to your home. The wholesale customer account is for you. For those of you who might want to share or might want to build a business down the track or now, you want to go for the wellness advocate business or the business account. So what you do then, to get your account, choose an enrollment kit, and we'll have a look at these. And then reiterate again. So in this class, we've talked about the Nature Solution Kit and the Home Essentials Kit. So then, and most of the leaders tell you to go from the most expensive to drop down in price, because if you start with the most expensive, people might go, oh, well, that's a bit expensive. But then as you drop down to something and go, oh, I could afford that, and then they drop down, oh, okay, yep, I could do that. So rather than going from cheaper to more expensive, they actually will feel like it's more affordable if you go from the more expensive first and drop down. So we'll start with the Nature Solution Kit. So this is for those who are really ready to overhaul their whole life. You want to get rid of all your cleaning products, your beauty care products, and you are ready to change your home and your healthcare with the oils. So the great thing about the Nature Solution Kit is when you go onto their loyalty rewards program in your second month to maybe get a couple of the oils that aren't in that kit, and you order 100 PV, you don't have to mention that, you can get a bonus 100 points to spend straight away, and you'll actually start at 15% in discount rather than just the first 10%. So I wouldn't touch too much on that, but if there's people that are interested in, you might say that, or you might just wait when you're talking to them in person. So probably the most popular kit is our Home Essentials Kit, and this is the most popular way that people start. It's the most valuable way because you're getting your 15 ml bottles that have 250 drops in them, and you're getting a free diffuser with your kit. So you're getting those top 10 oils we talked about, plus the diffuser for free. This one saves about $120 if you were to buy them individually. If that one's not for you and you're just really looking at I just want to give it a go and I'll replace the oils as I want to, then just go for the Essential Collection Kit. So this has our sample size, or our small bottle size, 5 ml, 85 drops in each bottle. You don't get a diffuser with this one, but you get a free Smart and Sassy Metabolic Blend. So you're talking about those kits, and then you can say the other option, if none of these kits are really suiting what you want, say you want to go for emotional oils, or you want to, pick and choose your oil, you can actually do that too. So we just have a $35 membership, and then you can choose the oils that you want at that wholesale price. If there's any enrollment incentives, so you want to talk about, if you've got a 200 PV, you want to make sure you're telling people about that, because that Home Essentials Kit is added value then. Get people to fill out their forms. So you won't say, like if you know what you want to get, start filling out your forms now, and then we'll actually come around and have a chat with you one-on-one to make sure we've got the forms filled out right. See if you have any questions. You can ask for questions now as well. Does anyone have any questions? If you don't have any questions, just go ahead and fill out that form, and I can help you with knowing what to tick, etc. So if you have, it's also probably good to say, so we're going to come around and chat with you one-on-one if you have any questions, or you want to look up anything in our resource books or in our app. So is there anyone that needs to leave in the next 20 minutes? And if someone does that, then you can go to them first and help them with choosing their kit, looking at their resources. So we usually say one wellness advocate to roughly 5 to 6 people. And if you've going to have a big class, and make sure you get someone to come along and help you. Now, this is actually quite interesting, a really good way to close. Now, this is when you're talking to them individually if you're not sure what to say. And this is from, might be Teresa Hall. I can't remember who it's from. There's something on YouTube somewhere, 6 steps to closing. You could look that up. Now, this is the 6 questions to ask. So you come and sit next to Sally. So what are we working on? And, they go, so what was your health concerns? What are we working on? And you're referring to, oh, I was working on sleep, blah, blah, blah. And so you're wanting her to mention what those health concerns are. And so then you go, so how serious are you about resolving these things right now? And this is where you're going, this is really, I just really want to look at this one now, or I'm really serious about doing all these. And then so you'll say, so if I were you, and I wanted to address all of these at once, I would go for the Home Essentials Kit, or I would go for the Nature Solution Kit, because blah, blah, blah. If I were you, and, here is also where you might no, actually you'll ask about the budget later. So give them time to complete their form, and if they still don't, you come back and ask them more questions. So Sally, what are the factors that you're considering in making this decision? You know, what's holding you back? And she might say, I've got to talk to my husband, or, you know, it's a little bit over the budget, or I'm not really a bit overwhelmed. So is there anything that we haven't discussed that will affect your decision? She might say, oh, well, you know, I wasn't really sure about emotions. I'm not sure. I kind of got a bit of anxiety or something. You might want to talk about that. So what do you think is the next best step for you? So asking questions is always the best way. Nissa Tatai, I always say that wrong, but Nissa is, she's another leader, and she says to always just ask questions. So if someone's actually, you know, if just get the elephant in the room out there. So what are you worried about with this? Is it, don't put words in their mouth, but just ask them what they're worried about or what they're concerned about, and you can, you know, squash those things hopefully. So the last one is supporting. So this one, when you've got your new enrollment, you pop it into the system. Now I prefer to get them to fill out those forms, and I put them in, because for some reason people seem a bit confused with the website. So if I can do it, I will put it in for them, because I know what to put where. I had a lady who enrolled the other week, and she accidentally put it through as a retail order. So we're still trying to chase that up to get it put as an enrollment order. So I just prefer to do it myself if I can. And you just go to Enroll a New Wellness Advocate in your back office and just fill it in. So once you've got your enrollment, you send them a welcome email. Now there is a template in my group. There's a few templates floating around different business groups on Facebook as well. So basically your welcome email will link them into our groups, tell them what their wellness advocate number is and how they order. I link some resource shop links, so where to get roller bottles, where to get books or aroma tools or any other ones like that I'll use. I always, I actually attach this picture here. So a great way for them to get some diffuser blends happening. And I also attach a safety flyer, which gives them, you know, tips and tricks on, you know, dilution rates. I also usually attach a dilution rates. And then the 150 ways to use the Home Essentials Kit PDF, which you can just look up on Google. So if you just Google in that, you'll actually find that PDF that you can save. And then I send them a welcome pack. So if I'm not local to them, I will post it to them. If I am local, I usually give them their welcome pack at the Wellness Consult. So I showed you before what was in the welcome pack. The Wellness Consult is a follow-up or a lifestyle overview. So that's something to do within 2 weeks when they've got their oils. That should be www.sharesuccess.com/library, but there is a wellness consult form on there. And the purpose of the wellness consult, and I usually say this is from Vanessa Jean and Paul Ovens. They say, now the protocol is that we do a wellness consult when you get your oils. Now the purpose of this is to show you how to use your oils safely, to use your oils to their maximum benefit, and also show you how to use your account. Now they say the protocol is because then people think that we have to do that. It's not, we don't have to, but we want them to have that wellness consult. We want to be showing them how to use those oils. And there's no use people purchasing a $300 kit and it's sitting on the shelf. So we want them to use those oils. We want them to change their lives, and we want to be supporting them so they know that we are supportive leaders. So you also might talk at the end of your class about booking classes from classes and go back to that. There's actually a part on here, where did I put where you talk about live, share, build. And so that's also, you might talk about that when you're talking about the wholesale account, the wholesale customer and the wellness advocate. So when I talk about share, I usually talk about if you want to host your own workshop, or Alison Bartolo will say at the end of the class, so you know everything about oils now? Who remembers everything? No? Well, do you know what's a great option? A great option is to have another workshop, because you'll learn again, and you can invite your friends that you were thinking about throughout the class when we, brought up something for sleep and your sister doesn't sleep, or your sister's baby doesn't sleep. So we can book in a workshop then. So you'll just talk about them getting a hostess gift, and give them that booking pack. So there's also the continued education course that we do in Brisbane for our team members. So that's the alternate Tuesday night, and we do 8 different classes. So we have we do lifelong vitality, we do natural first aid kit, we've done detoxing your home. This week Susie's doing emotions, we're doing hormones, we're doing DIY beauty, we're doing some other things, but just that continued education to get people learning about their oils across all aspects of their life. So if you can plug people into ours, then that's great. If you want to start doing that yourself, we can help you you can use our curriculum, which is still kind of being made, but you can use our curriculum to teach those workshops in your area, or I might be able to do them via webinar as well, if I get enough interest to do those by webinar. So hopefully that's covered anything you have. Like, I know that Lisa's left now. I'm not sure if Carlian's actually there, but if you have any questions, please just chat to your upline or send me a message and ask about these things. I'd love to have a chat about this in the group, and we'll just get some discussion happening. So I hope that's really helped you to know what the pipes mean and what the daily thing, what we need to do in our business to get people into our business, how to share the oils, and how to support our people to learn to use their oils the best we can as business builders. So I know that was a lot, but you get used to it after a while, and you learn how to do the presenting and things, and you start to put your own little spin on it. But if you have any questions, please let me know. So I will see you all later, and happy businessing.